first, I don't talk about fasting on lives. I no longer talk about fasting on lives. It is a topic that I only talk about directly or in the Discord because the information can be used in ways that are unhealthy. What teas do I like? I'm an herbalist, so I like to pick stuff out in the wild. Nettle is one of my favorite teas, raspberry leaf tea. I really love wild ginger. I've got German chamomile or pineapple chamomile in my front yard. That's really lovely. Worst tea in the whole world that I have ever tasted in my life is hops. Hops tea. It's horrific. Don't do it. Hops is a really powerful feminine herb. It works on the female reproductive organs. It is a galactagogue, which it helps produce breast milk. It balances the hormones, female hormones, and I find it so ironic that it is the primary mode of making beer. Yeah, oh my, I'll stay away from hops. But hops is in beer, right? The primary thing that's a whole nother, okay, sorry. That was a funny way to start this morning. That just sent me down a little rabbit hole about how the regulations for beer being made and what happened and before and how beer was used before. Sorry, that's a whole, you got me on a totally whole nother like polymath rabbit hole that I have studied. Yeah, anyway. Yes, Jenny, thank you. Yes, guys, this is Kanju or Jakanju. My son named him. So, good morning, good morning, good morning. For those of you who are new here, hello, my name is Reverend Deborah. I am a movement facilitator, movement in breath, body, and being, and I am your shenanigan shaman. There are a lot of places in the world where you can go take yourself very seriously. This is not one of them. Do we talk about serious things? Absolutely. But we weave playfulness. I saw a quote yesterday, or the other day, that I wanted to remember, and I forget now, but it echoed this sentiment that I've received in my exploration, my coming home to God and to divinity. The closer I got, right, to that temple of divinity, to that connection with divinity, the more playful it got, the sillier it got. The more I get to know God and the universe, the more what's the word? My mouth stopped because all the words that want to come out are too limited to describe the thing. Right? When you've experienced that expansiveness, that laughter in your heart, the bubbles that you see just beyond your vision, when the colors of the sunlight dance with each other and the wind. English does not describe these things. There are not words for these things. But the closest is playful, is childlike, is curious, is open, is expansive, is laughter, is joy. Divinity has the best sense of humor. Yes, I have the word paradox tattooed on my belly here because when I was in earlier stages of my path, I would get very frustrated by the paradoxes, by the, you have to do this and you have to do this. You're supposed to be like this and you're supposed to be like this. You're supposed to love yourself and love others. You're supposed to, there's all these different paradoxes that exist that, some of the most simple things, simple concepts are the most difficult to embody. Anyway, but it would make me very frustrated because I wanted a clear path forward. But instead, I put it there on my belly to remind myself that that is where you laugh. That the way that you meet paradox, the way that you meet frustration is with a smile, is with laughter, is with silliness. The way you meet anger, the way you meet just feeling justified, the way you meet any of these stuck and rigid concepts, feelings, is with the opposite, right? The expansiveness of playfulness. It immediately gets things unstuck, gets things moving. God has a sense of humor. I know. Have you seen those birds out there? Some of those animals that it created, man. Pika, you just posted that? See? It's going around, whatever it is. It's just like the playfulness, the humor, you know? And it is in these moments where it's when I take myself too seriously that I lose sight of, gosh. I almost said God. Yeah, I lose sight of God. Today might be a little extra laughter and a little extra shenanigans. I've been needing it a lot to move some stuck energy. So good morning everyone. This is our Bhakti Bites class. Bhakti means devotion in Sanskrit. So devotion to what? Devotion to self-care. Because self-care is often the last thing on our to-do list and the first thing that we put aside when we get too busy. We might have a really good self-care routine of like once or twice a week going and doing something big for ourselves, and that's really wonderful. But the truth is that self-care is something that we can keep in our pocket. It's something that we want to be able to access in the moment when we need it most. When I suddenly come face to face with my anxiety in the middle of the grocery store, that hour in the morning of yoga may still help me, yeah. But I can't drop down into a down dog and do a couple of flows in the middle of the grocery store without really making a scene. More of a scene than I really want to, right? So I need more accessible techniques. I need pocket size. I need bite size. I need beard snacks, right? Little beard crumbs of self-care. So that when I'm really in the moment, when I'm really in need of nourishment, I have it. Self-care is a necessity also for the care of others. Yes. When we fill our cup, okay, this is a concept that's extremely important. And again, it's one of those paradoxical concepts. It's a concept that's easy to understand in the prefrontal cortex, but it's easy to know, but it's difficult to bring down into a place of understanding and experience, right? How do we actually do that? But when we fill our cup first, that cup naturally overflows to others. Then if I have my cup full and what overflows is what I give to others, then it does not drain me to give to others, does it? I am giving the excess that I have. Too often we believe that we should just give of what we have no matter how little we have. Or we believe that it's other people's responsibility to fill our cup for us. And if they don't do it, then we don't get filled. If you put the key to your happiness outside of yourself, you have to chase that key down. Do not put the locus of control. What if? I'll be happy only if I have this external thing. But that external thing is finite and temporary. So your happiness being contingent upon that means your happiness is going to be finite and temporary. So how do you fill your cup? Self-care, yeah. What does that look like? It's going to look different for each of us. But what do we fill our cup with, right? I see a lot of people, day in and day out, who are searching for something to fill their cup with in the finite plane of reality. They're here looking for temporary, finite solutions to fill a space that's actually meant to be filled with an infinite source, with prana, with divinity. We put ourselves in relationships so we can give and take to each other of our finite energy. And it becomes exhausting, and we build resentment, and we become frustrated with our partners because they're not satisfying our need for something infinite through something finite. It is a grave misconception. Thank you, Andrew. Hello, Stephen. Good morning. It is a grave misconception, and one that leads us into re-wounding ourselves again and again and again, and re-wounding each other. And it leads us down away from divinity, not up towards. You are a conduit for divine prana. And love is an endless source filling this cup in being love. Yes. Ooh, that's a rabbit hole too, isn't it though? Because the word love, what we're saying about English being limited, the word love is used in so many different ways. When I say love, I am talking about the divine love, the infinite love, the love that flows through absolutely everything, the one that is the same as Yahweh, God, Brahman, one, love, unity. That is always available to us, always flowing through us. The only reason we don't experience that is when we close ourselves off to it. Love can be all around me, but I may be walking around with my eyes closed telling myself that I am unlovable and therefore will never receive the love that I desire because I have told myself that it does not exist in this lifetime. Or I have told myself that I'm not worthy of it. And sometimes we do that unconsciously. Oftentimes, we do that unconsciously. Oftentimes, we do not experience the infinite expansion of God's love because we are closed off to it, because we expect and need or want it to show up in a different way. So this is why I share these mindfulness tools. In hopes that they will open channels for you, that they will give you the tools you need to connect with an infinite source, to fuel your inner fire with an infinite love, so that you can have a continuous flow of prana that moves through you so much that your cup is always full. The hearth in your heart is always warm. There is a story about a monk receiving divinity for the first time in his life. And he talks about the way that it lit the spark within him and grew and grew and grew until it was a wildfire that not only consumed him, but lit the spark, lit the hearth of everyone around him. And people knew him as someone who could light that spark in your heart because he was aflame, ablaze with it. That's why they say when you finally experience love, you'll know love. It is different than the push and pull that we call love, which is just a finite battle for energy. It's a finite battle for a limited resource. So of course we're clamoring and fighting each other and doing all these terrible, nefarious things to try to get what we need and take what we need. But we only need to do that because we misconceive of what is available to us. We don't understand the expansiveness or how to access it. Maybe we understand that it's there, but we go, but how do I get that moving through me? Mindfulness is a good place to start. Meditation is a good place to start. Mudras, energy work, these are great places to start. Thank you guys for the gifts. Thank you guys for the follows. So we are going to move on to our mudra for the week. Today is the last day. We're going to be doing the Mahatrika Mudra. And we're going to expand upon our practice, just like we do. Okay, so welcome everyone to Bhakti Bites. Monday, we practice our mudra for the first time, and we just sit with our mudra for 5 minutes. Tuesday, we usually add a little bit to our practice and sit with our mudra for a little bit longer. Today, we're going to sit with our mudra probably about 10-15 minutes. If at any point during the meditation you want to stop or let go, or you need to go do something else, don't worry about it. Don't chide yourself. Just go ahead and close by offering a little bit of gratitude. If you have some time, 10-15 minutes, to come sit with me, I highly encourage you to do so. This is a really powerful mudra, a mudra that is important, honestly, for everyone to use. The Mahatrika Mudra, Mahatrika translates to fluidity. And this mudra works specific on the pelvic region, the entire pelvic region, the sides of your hips, basically from your belly button down to your pelvic floor. That whole area is what this mudra works on. The Mahatrika actually translates to triangle or trinity. And when you go and you look online, if you go search this one, I'll spell it for you, Mahatrika. If you go and research this online, you're going to see that there's a bunch of people telling you this is the mudra for constipation. Yes, it is the mudra for constipation, but it's not the only use for this mudra. And don't be worried, okay? I've been doing this mudra all week long and it hasn't caused like major evacuation of any kind. So don't be scared. Yeah. Because it does a great deal more. And I think that, welcome Josephine, divine timing indeed, friend. So think of what that translates to, right? A lot of times the information we get is very limited, and that's why it's important to think a little bit deeper, especially in this world where the social media gods don't want you to see the actual information, right? They want you to just have the bendy yoga girls and the constipation mudras and whatnot. But let me tell you, the value of this mudra is well beyond constipation, because it moves energy through the pelvic floor. So think about things like, yes, physical discomforts, things like cysts, hemorrhoids, UTIs, bladder infection, lower urinary tract issues, menstrual cramps, SA trauma, general sense of grounding and security. Our root chakra is located in our pelvic area, and so is our sacral chakra. Your root chakra is your basic sense of security in this world. Pika, you need help with solar plexus movement. A lot of times the energy, if we struggle to express our will or to have confidence, if we struggle with our solar plexus, a lot of times it's lower chakra blockages that can't bring the energy up. The energy can't get up. If our root chakra has a really hard time connecting to the earth and keeping us grounded, then we don't have the full force of energy that we need to have to build this confidence. Now, that's not to say that that's the only way. The whole chakra system is very intricate and interrelated. So one issue here may mean an issue below and or above. So if you are interested in chakra alignment sessions and you want to work directly with me, you can totally reach out to me on any of the platforms. You can find me on patreon.com/movewithchange. But so don't get me started on the chakras. I'll go off on a total tangent there. Yes, so the root chakra is about feeling safe. This is the first thing that develops. This is the first experience. This develops during the first year of your life. See, I'm already talking about chakras again, guys. This is my coup de grace. This is my, the thing I've been working on my entire life is energy work. So you guys are going to get me on a side tangent. But this develops during the first year of life. Any trauma, any difficulty, any sense of separation, we all have a root trauma because of the initial separation of birth. In and of itself, birth itself is your first experience of separation. Separation from the oneness, separation from perfect little comfort zone in here, right? Everything being taken care of. For the first time in your life, you have to express your need. You have to reach out for something outside of you. That in and of itself is a trauma, and one that most of us never really get to deal with because we don't have a culture that teaches us how to do so. Welcome, High Voltage. Thank you, friend. So, yeah, agreed. When I sit in these sessions, I try to just kind of let it flow into the direction it goes. So sometimes I don't finish a thought. And if you guys see me doing that and want me to come back around, please remind me, because sometimes the energy just continues to flow in other directions. Okay, so this works on the root chakra. Your root chakra is your sense of security, your sense of safety, your sense of asking, will the universe respond to my needs? Will the universe answer me when I cry? Right? That's the experience of the root chakra. Then the second chakra, the sacral chakra, which is between the belly button and the pubic bone, this is our center for nourishment. This is where we receive the care for our needs. This is, the bottom one is, am I safe? Is the universe going to respond when I cry? Second is, am I taken care of? Will the universe meet my needs? If I ask if I'm hungry, will I be fed? Right? A lot of us, especially culturally in the way that we raise children, the way that we've been taught to raise children in the last couple of decades, generations, there is a lot of lower trauma. And most of us continue to carry this stuff through the rest of our lives. It influences the way that we show up at work. It influences the way that we show up in our relationships. It influences our relationship with money. There is so much that we end up with in the lower chakras that affects everything else in our life, in our body, in our being. We also carry in our pelvic floor generational trauma. We also carry so imagine your pelvic floor as the basin, right? You have the energy channels that move up, there's up and down. But we have a channel that moves from our root chakra into the earth, through our legs and into the earth. And it's kind of a way of, just like in your pelvic floor, what do you have? This is where you eliminate toxins from your body, physical body, correct? This is also where you eliminate toxins from your emotional and energetic body. So what happens when we don't release the things? They get stuck down there. Think of it like sediment or stones or little pebbles that all collect at your pelvic floor, at your root chakra. It can make it very, very difficult for that energy to flow up that we need, the divine feminine, to come up from the earth, to meet the divine masculine, right? The interaction between the two can't happen because we have blockages, because we have too much stuff down there. And sometimes we end up pulling our energy up further and we're like, I'm not even going to look at that shit. I can't even look at that shit. Do you know people who spend their time up here and refuse to see their bodies? I could go on for hours about all of the things that this can cause in the physical body, in the outer world, in the inner world. But instead, yes, Pika, see what I mean? I get sidetracked on the chakras. So the Mahatrika Mudra is done like this. It's a two-handed mudra. You take your thumb to touch the tip of your ring finger. Make little shadow dogs here, right? With your thumb and your ring finger, okay? Remember, no more than the weight of a nickel. These are very gentle connections. Then bring the shadow dogs to kiss. No more than the weight of a nickel. Very gentle connection. Then bring your pinky fingers together. Yes, that means that your ring fingers are going to bend a little bit. That's what it's supposed to do. It creates a kind of hip pelvic shape here. Keep those pointer and middle finger extended. The Mahatrika Mudra. We're going to do that one more time, okay? This is kind of a funny one once you see it. Okay. Thumb. Oh, puppy. Hold on. Thumb to ring finger to touch. Make your shadow dogs. Bring the shadow dogs to kiss. Bring your pinky finger together. Tips of your pinky fingers. Keep the other two fingers extended. Remember, we hold our mudra with intention. No tension. Don't overextend. Don't put pressure in here. No more than the weight of a nickel. Holding it erect with your intention. Okay? This mudra then is placed either in your lap or directly in front of your pubic bone. There's a puppy in my way today, so I'm just going to rest this right on top of the puppy. Yes, good, Josephine. This one will help a great deal with this. Kissing bunnies and shadow puppets. Yeah. Did you just make a shadow puppet on the wall? Did you just like test it to see? The Mahatrika, the shadow puppet mudra. The mudra for fluidity. The mudra for moving all of this stuck energy in our pelvic floor. The stuff that so there's also things that we collect in our pelvic floor called runana-bandhas. My Sanskrit is not working this morning. I apologize. Runana-bandhas are karmic, or not karmic, or like debris that we pick up. When I interact with my dog, when I sit on a seat on the bus, when I go into a store and touch the door, I am interacting with the energy stored in those places, right? I am interacting with the energy of my dogs right now. And there are most of us have stuck places, blockages, compartments, and whatnot, and a lot of this energy gets stuck. Because again, we're not taught how to clear our energy field. We're not taught how to balance our energy field. We can't go to the doctor and be like, hey doc, my energy's got a bunch of debris in it. Do you mind clearing out my aura for me? Again, if you'd like those services, you can find me on patreon.com. So even if you're like, I don't have any trauma, I have a great life, everything's great and happy, okay, good, fantastic. You still probably have some debris. So go ahead and grab your Mahatrika Mudra. Yes, Josephine, absolutely. And just FYI, my replays are always on YouTube. If you ever miss the meditation or want to remember a mudra or anything like that, go to YouTube, follow me at Move with Change. All of my replays are on there. I need to set this down. I feel like I'm going to poke somebody's eye out if I keep throwing it around. So set my mudra down. I call mudras spiritual gang signs. Yeah, kind of energetic. To me, they're like magic wands or like sigils that you can use with your hands. That's what they remind me of. There's a great deal of power and intention and energy in them. They're very powerful things just by being the shape that they are, right? Okay. Let's sit. Let's sit. I post these, Pika. I post these on YouTube at Move with Change. And I post them also in my Discord. If you haven't joined the Discord, you can find that link on the Patreon too, patreon.com at Move with Change. I will chat about that more after we sit for a meditation. I've got a really nice meditation today. We're going to sit with this mudra for a few minutes. We're going to breathe into the mudra, and then we're going to do a little bit of visualization, okay? If you say to yourself, I can't meditate, yes, you can. Stick around, okay? I'll show you how. If you say, I can't visualize, that's okay. You don't have to see things in your mind to set the intention. And what's the most important part of your meditation? Your intention and your attention. That's it. Everything else is a boon. Everything else is extra. Everything else is just icing on the cake, okay? Awesome, Pika. If you guys want a link directly to the Discord, also feel free to message me, but the link is also on my Patreon. So let's get into this meditation. Grab your Mahatrika Mudra. Let's do that one more time for everybody in the back, right? Bring your thumb and your ring finger together. Make your little shadow bunnies, right, Pika? They're shadow bunnies. Shadow bunnies, bring your shadow bunnies to kiss. And then bring the tips of your pinky fingers together. So you have this nice little heart shape. It might be in my bio too. Yeah. YouTube definitely is. And Patreon is definitely there on the YouTube too. All right. Go ahead and grab your Mahatrika Mudra. Rest it at your pelvic floor. You can open your knees and rest it there. You can just keep your knees together and rest it in your lap. I'm going to put it on my puppy because he's all in my space. So when you are ready, if you can close your eyes, please do so now. And we are going to begin our practice with 3 deep breaths. Inhale through the nose, pulling the breath in through the lungs and into the belly. And sigh it out. Inhale again, lifting the heart and elongating the spine. And let it go. Inhale again, expanding the ribcage in all directions, front, sides, and back. Hold to the top. Take a little more breath in. A little more. A little more. And let it go. Seal the lips and begin a slow, steady pace of inhale and exhale through the nose. Rest your awareness on the breath, allowing your attention to float, following the inhale all the way to the top and floating back down on the exhale all the way to the bottom. Feel into the sensation as your awareness floats on the breath. Spend several breaths here, allowing this rhythm to rock you into a state of presence, a state of heightened awareness. If your mind monkeys are busy this morning and they keep chattering away as you're trying to follow the breath, simply offer them a gentle smile and return your awareness back to your practice. Our mind monkeys are very persistent. They tell us that many, many, many thoughts and many, many, many things are very important right now, and we need to pay attention to them. But they are not the captain of this ship. They are not the boss. So we bring our attention gently back. We bring our awareness gently back to our intention, which right now is just to follow the breath. We do so with love and gentleness. This is a space to be kind to yourself and only kind to yourself. Please use this space as just that. Gentle, loving awareness, following the breath, riding the waves of the breath. Waves of the breath. And in your mind's eye, imagine that you are in a little boat and the waves rise and fall, matching your breath. Slow, steady climb, slow, steady fall. Sliding up and down each side of these rolling waves. Gentle, soothing rocking. Feel into the sensation, the ebb and the flow of the breath, the movement of the little boat as the waves swell beneath it. Motion is big, but it's not rough. It's gentle, soothing. Just you, the boat, and the ocean. Slow, steady breaths to match the waves. Holding onto your mudra, I invite you to imagine that you peek over the edge of this boat and you look down into the deep, deep water. As you look down, you notice something at the bottom. Allow it to manifest in your mind however it manifests. Even if it does not manifest, simply set the intention to look over the edge of the boat and notice something in the bottom of the ocean, much like you're telling yourself a story. Whatever you see down there at the bottom seems to call to you. So you slip into the water, diving over the side of the boat, and you begin swimming down to the bottom. As you swim down to the bottom, you notice more of these things down at the bottom of the ocean. Let them manifest, let them appear as anything that they may appear as. You may notice stones, you may notice gems, you may notice actual things, you may notice things from your memory. Don't try not to attach too much to them. Try not to tell too many stories. We're just witnessing here. You don't need to ask why. You don't need to explain anything. You don't need to even go, ooh, I remember that thing. That's from that time that this thing happened. That's the mind monkey distraction. Come back to just bearing witness as you sink to the bottom of the ocean floor. Sit on the ocean floor with all of these things around you. Here in the bottom of the ocean, continue to breathe slow and steady with the rhythm of the ocean. Same rhythm as those waves on top. You can now feel that rhythm pushing and pulling you inside of the ocean. As if the ocean, you are one with the ocean. And as you feel that ebb and flow of the breath through you and through the entire ocean, notice that these things on the bottom of the floor, whether they be stones or objects or anything else, notice that they are also rocking, moving in the same rhythm, a kind of gentle ebb and flow. Sit with this rocking motion for several breaths. Notice the movement all around you and allow your body to naturally begin moving. You may feel an ever so subtle movement within. You may feel a much bigger one, and it may kind of want your body. Your body may start to rock or kind of turn in little circles on its own. Go ahead and allow that to happen. It's creating movement in the body, in the energy body, in the physical body. Slow, steady breaths. All of the movement within you and around you matching this slow, steady breath. The breath that moves through everything, like the ocean, like the water moves through everything. Couple more breaths. Sitting on the ocean floor, feeling this rocking sensation, I invite you to pull your awareness back into your pelvic floor now. We're going to micro-macro this scene and pull the entire scene, the entire ocean with everything in it, and you included, sitting on the ocean floor, into your pelvic floor. That entire scene, that rocking motion, the ocean itself, you sitting on the bottom, and all the stones and debris, all of it in your pelvic floor. Take a big deep breath in, filling your air with lungs. Wow, filling your lungs with air. And as you exhale, imagine swimming up on the breath from your pelvic floor all the way out your mouth. That little version of you that was sitting on the ocean floor now comes up on the breath, riding it like a river and out the mouth. Do that again. I notice sometimes that when I do that practice, I don't make it all the way up from the pelvic floor. So take a couple of deep breaths. Exhaling yourself out of your pelvic floor through the mouth. One more time if you need it. All that should be left in your pelvic floor now is that deep, expansive ocean and the debris shaking on the bottom, moving, ebb and flowing on the bottom of the ocean, now in your pelvic floor. The pelvic floor is also the root chakra. So imagine that there is a tub drain, right? That kind of imagery. Right at your pelvic floor. You are sitting on that drain. So imagine popping it open and letting everything drain out. All the ocean, all the debris, all the sand. You might even catch some fish in there and stuff. Let it all drain from the pelvic floor. I invite you to note when you do this, does it come out like a huge whoosh, whoosh? Do you get a big tornado of water sinking into it, or is it a trickle? Is there blockages there? Note what comes up first. It's going to tell you a lot about the state that your root chakra is in. Can you pull that plug and drain the ocean, or does it trickle out? Is it slow? Does it feel stuck? Does it feel rigid? Take note as you watch the ocean drain, taking all that debris with it. If it feels stuck, if you feel like it's not draining, I invite you to flex your pelvic floor 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then release. Relax the pelvic floor. You can even say to yourself, relax pelvic floor, relax root chakra, relax, and feel the muscles relaxing in your pelvic floor. See if that assists. You can do that several times over, flexing and then releasing. Keep those slow, steady breaths going. Watching the pelvic floor empty. And once it's emptied, just sit in this emptied space. Feel the expansiveness. Feel the extra room created. Feel the lightness in your being, in your body. Notice anything that arises. You may feel the desire to cry. You may feel laughter bubble up. You may even feel a sense of loss. All of these things are okay. Slow, steady breaths. I invite you to stay in this space as long as you would like. Feeling into this expansiveness, the openness, the lightness of being. And if you don't feel any of those things, feel free to go through this practice multiple times. Put yourself back on the boat in the ocean. Match the waves with the breath. Sink down to the bottom. Take stock of every bit of debris down there. Bring it back to your pelvic area. Swim up and out on your breath, and then drain the swamp. Stay with any part of the practice that feels good to you. Stay there as long as you would like. When you feel complete, I invite you to release the mudra and bring your hands together into prayer, or simply lay one over the other over your heart in gratitude for today's practice. In gratitude for this CAYA space, this safe space where we can show up just as we are, no matter how stuck or how silly we may feel. In gratitude for these tools, in gratitude for this divine prana that offers us healing and guidance throughout our lives. Offer yourself some gratitude for taking the time for self-care today. I am so proud of you. Good job for showing up. And thank you so much for joining me. When you're ready to come out of meditation, when you're really committed to coming back to the physical, this matrix reality, I invite you to do so slowly. You've had your eyes closed for a little while, so it can help to rub your palms together, generate some heat, so you're not putting cold-ass hands on your eyeballs. Cover your eyes, cup them over your eyes, and gently flutter your eyes open, fluttering them to let them adjust to the light, and then giving them a nice little wipe away. Wipe down. Hello. Hello, world. Hello, world. We're back. Thank you guys for the follow. Hey, Pika. Okay. Oh, wow, guys. Hello, hello. Hey, Pika's in the Discord. Look at you go. Oh, okay, guys. So, if you missed practice, if you're just joining us, the replays for all of these practices are on YouTube at Move with Change. Awesome, Josephine. Fantastic. Good, good. So, like I said, we do 3 types of meditation throughout the week. Monday, we sit with the mudra by itself for 5 minutes with nothing more, right? Tuesday, we add a little bit more to it. And then Saturdays usually are like, let's go on an adventure meditation. Let's do some storytelling. Let's do something more fun, more creative, more, expansive. So if this was a lot for you, then I highly encourage you to join us on Monday and kind of build upon the practice. Again, you can also go to YouTube and watch the replays for this week and previous weeks. I restarted this channel back in November. And I have been teaching Bhakti Bites 2-3 times a week since. So there are a lot of mudras. There are a lot of classes. Chris, welcome. Good morning. I'm glad you're here. Thank you guys again for the follows. Where is Pika? Pika is in Discord. Anthony, we have a Discord, and throughout the week, I usually turn the chats off. I only turn the chat on Saturday so that we can keep the chat happening in Discord. Because of the nature of the things that I am sharing with you guys, the social media gods have deemed these things they do not want you to see. So he's behind me, Puppy's behind me. So the Discord, you can find the Discord link. It's a weird number thing, right? It's a funky link. So you can find the Discord link on my Patreon. Anthony, you're over there on YouTube. On my profile on YouTube, there's a link to the Patreon, and you can find the Discord link there. Same here, guys, on TikTok. There's a link there. Thank you. Hey from California. The YouTube is at Move with Change. I am at Move with Change on pretty much everywhere. Patreon, YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, Kick, Instagram, X, Twitter, Facebook even. But the reality is that the primary communication and all of the really great shenanigans and the really great information is in the Discord. The more I try to share content on these platforms, the more they start to strike my account, the more they take this stuff down. I have been told, now that we have AI watching the algorithm, AI can see QR codes in my content. They're not QR codes, I can tell you that for sure. So because AI can recognize it now, the algorithm doesn't share it. It takes it down. It tells me that it's not content it wants to share. So if you guys really want these tools and want to practice and talk about these tools openly, it's got to happen in the Discord. Otherwise, I'm going to lose my accounts. You can see AI. You don't need Discord? I do. I do, because I would like to build a community of people, because we are building a community of people who are on this path of learning, who are on this journey home to themselves. Hey, June. When you're doing this work, it can be pretty messy. It can get pretty scary. It can get pretty confusing. And if it's your first time doing this stuff, or you're just now kind of ready to do this stuff, you may be surrounded by people who don't know what you're talking about, who don't want to talk about it, who don't think you should take this path either, right? Or who at least have an idea, an expectation about who you are and how you behave. And so when we are trying something new, when we are seeking expansion, a lot of times to embody that expansion, we need to surround ourselves with people who are also doing the same work. It's that concept of how we are the sum of the, 6 people we spend most of our time with. Hello, Ajna. Hello. I love you too. I love you. Hi, baby. It's not time for ball yet. It's not time yet. We're not even done with class. We're not even done yet. Can you lay down? So, we need the Discord so that I can share the stuff with you guys. We have a free CAYA courtyard, we call it, where you can show up and enjoy connection with other people on this path. We have a 24/7 dance hall. We have a space called the CAYA Cocoon for people who want some body doubling, or if you just need somebody to come in and chat with, that space is there too. We are building a bazaar so that we can support artists and small business owners and that kind of stuff. I have a lot of resources too. I share more info on the mudras. You get access to some astrology and recipes and things like that I'm putting in there. There's a lot of free stuff there. And then there's also various layers of membership. There's various tiers of membership so that you can get into the parts of the Sangha that you would like to get into. Basically, it's, how deep do you want to go into your mindfulness practice? Because I offer group practice sessions. I offer group coaching sessions. I offer private and coaching and practice sessions. I also build workshops. The workshops are where the bulk of the information that I have is. I like to give you guys these free classes. These are really good classes. They keep me up on my practice, and they keep me sharing the stuff that I am compelled to share. But the bulk of the information and the practice happens in those workshops. Those workshops, like I said, so energy work and the energy body is something that I've been working with since I was 7. 7 was when I was introduced and handed down our family lineage of energy work. So the workshop that I do on the chakra system is an what's it called? A comprehensive workshop on the entire energy body, not just the chakra centers, but how the energy body is how it moves, how big it is, how many layers it has, how the chakras interact with each other, and then how to determine which chakras are out of balance and how to get them back into balance. I offer a ridiculous amount of tools and tips and tricks and things like that to help balance your energy body, because to be honest, in my experience and my study of all these different modalities, I always come back to the foundation of energy work, because your energy body, the stack of stones, when you go out there to the river and you see somebody has stacked some stones, all perfectly put together, right? The top stone is your body. When any of these other stones are out of balance, your body lets you know. Your body is your check engine light. Hey, Che, cha. Your energy body is further down here. So if you adjust, you balance your energy body, it immediately brings into balance these other stones on top. So you're dealing with, if you try to treat the symptoms up here on the body, you're only rebalancing the body. And if there are issues that are manifesting in the body from these other stones, then they're going to keep manifesting in the body, and you're going to have to keep rebalancing the body. This is how Western medicine works. They're like, oh, the body? Okay, well, let's just treat the body and treat the body and treat the body and treat the body. Oh, it came out this way now? Oh, shit. Well, let's treat this symptom here. Well, let's treat that symptom. Shit. And before you know it, the whole damn Karen collapses because we're not actually treating the underlying issue. The energy body is a really fantastic way to get to that. My YouTube channel is @MoveWithChange. I am Move with Change on all the platforms. I think Twitch is the only one I accidentally put a weird nickname or weird name to. I'm @MoveWithChange on all the places. My email is @movewithchange@gmail.com or rev@movewithchange.com. My website is down right now, so I got the Patreon. But thank you guys for the follows. So I put on that workshop every year. And every year I expand that workshop. Every year I build upon that workshop to make it better. This year I'm hoping to get that workshop out in June. But as a member in the CAYA Sangha, there's a level of membership called the CAYA, or called the Sangha Scholars. That membership and above gives you complete and total access to all of my workshops. I did this on purpose. I sell my workshops externally. Some are $15, $20, some are $1,000 or more. I have bigger workshops that will be coming out that will be thousands of dollars. If you are a monthly subscriber at the Sangha Scholar level or above, you get lifetime access, as long as you are a member, to all of my workshops. That's a value of hundreds or thousands of dollars, depending on how deep and how many workshops you want to take. Awesome. Thank you, Josephine. If you don't follow me anywhere else, follow me on YouTube, because that's the one place where I can at least store stuff, and the one place where I don't really care about the algorithm. I'm just putting stuff over there for everything to be there. So, the membership tiers can be found on Patreon. They can also be found through Discord as well. So you can get into the Discord for free, check out the space, chat with me more, and we can talk directly about the membership levels. But it's really important that you read through what the description is, because each level gives you more and more and more and more access to stuff. And I have a membership level that's $5.55 a month. It's called the Seed Sower level. That just means you're supporting the work that I do, and you're offering gratitude for these free classes. I teach 4 free classes a week. To keep doing those, somehow I gotta pay the bills. So I love giving things away for free. So if you appreciate these things, if you like the content, especially if you're going over to YouTube and watching the replays and things like that, I would really appreciate it if you could either throw something in the tip jar, or which is on the Patreon. Also, the link for my Cash App and stuff is on TikTok too, or join a membership level. And you can always change your membership level too. Thank you, Josephine. You can always change your membership level too. You can come in on a low one and get into there, and then you go, oh shit, but I really want that group coaching level. So let's go up. And then you go, wait a minute, this month I can't afford the group coaching level. Drop back down for a month. I'm not trying to create a space that's an exclusive, only if you have a fat wallet can you come in. There's plenty of spaces like that. I'm not here to charge people. I'm not here to manipulate people. I'm not here to sell you something you don't want. I have a massive toolbox because I have spent pretty much my entire life working on this stuff. I came from extreme trauma, and I knew before I was 10, that if I wanted to be a good person and a good parent, that I had to learn how to do that on purpose. So since the age of 7, I'm almost 40, guys, I've been building this toolbox. And it has helped me exponentially. It has it has made me who I am, afforded me the ability to lift myself out of some of the most darkest places. This is a lifelong journey. Coming home to yourself, discovering your divinity. The path to enlightenment is not a destination. Like, you don't land in enlightenment. It is a practice. It is an ebb and a flow. It is a rise and a fall. Hey, Divya, how are you? So, come explore the membership levels. Find what works for you, what you really want to get out of it. Find something sustainable. I don't offer single one-off coaching sessions anymore because I'm not looking for people who are touch and go on their path. If you are touch and go on your path, enjoy the free classes. That's what they're here for. When you're ready to step both feet on that path, when you're ready to set your sights on your purpose and on your authenticity, which simply is your divinity flowing through you, then come make your commitment. Then come grab yourself a membership. If you grab yourself a membership and need a break, that's also okay too. But when we make a commitment to ourselves, a simple commitment like self-care, I commit to taking care of myself, to practicing self-care every single day. The link again, patreon.com/@moveachange. The link should be in my bio on YouTube. Self-care is giving yourself a breath in the middle of an anxiety attack. Self-care is saying no when you really don't want to or can't. Self-care is having the presence of mind and trust with yourself to know when you need to say no. That takes practice. That is a muscle you've got to flex to figure out how to do that. Trust is not built in the big moments. I don't build trust with myself when I handle an emergency situation that happens once every 10 years, right? Like once every decade, hopefully, you run into a really awful, terrible emergency situation. Yeah, good job. You trust yourself to deal with an emergency situation. But do you trust yourself to deal with the micro emergencies that your body is telling you that are all around you? That is how we cultivate trust. Brené Brown talks about trust in that way. It's built in the tiny moments where we show up for ourselves or when we show up for other people. That's what self-care is about. Building the trust with yourself to know that when you need yourself, that you will be there. And honestly, all that takes is like 5 minutes a day, 5 minutes at a time, 5 breaths at a time. How many times do we accidentally do the thing that hurt the person again, and then we feel guilty and chide ourselves about it and all these other things? What if you could change that pattern with just 5 breaths? Well, you'd have to cultivate the awareness to catch yourself in that pattern first, right? You'd have to catch yourself in that pattern so that then you could take those 5 breaths. And then you'd have to be aware of the other choices available to you after you took those 5 breaths. How do you cultivate that awareness? Mindfulness, patience, gentle, loving kindness to yourself. We cultivate all of that in the CAYA Sangha and here on all the channels. So no matter where you are on your path, I don't care if you've been doing this for decades or if you are just waking up. I know that a lot of people are experiencing symptoms, ascension symptoms, that they're like, I don't know where this came from. All of a sudden, I'm having these vivid dreams, or all of a sudden, I feel people's energy, or all of a sudden, right? There's a lot of these people coming into my scope of awareness, saying, this is just happening. All of the sudden, these things are happening. Please come into the Discord. I would say it's a gift. It's probably a gift, but I've called it a curse for many years because I have been on this path since I was 7. And for most of that time, I have been behind a glass wall. I have been learning and developing and using these tools and sharing them in what tiny ways that I can. But it's as if there has been an inability to really give it out, to really share it. And I realized in the past few years, the reason was because I needed to simmer. I needed to sit with this. I needed to deeply understand this so when the time came, I could share. And I am beyond grateful now for that incubation time. Because the number of people who are showing up on my proverbial door talking about energy work and the chakras and energy movement and energy exchange are a ridiculous amount of people. I love all of you, and I really love that the universe is like ushering you guys in my direction, because I've spent years learning how to do these things, learning how to clear, balance, protect, align, and heal. I've been diagnosed with a variety of things. Many of those I no longer am diagnosed with because of energy work and because of the mindfulness practices that gave me the awareness to know what needed to be done, to know what energy work was needed, to know where the imbalances are. If you would like to learn those things, if you would like to cultivate those things, Discord. But Western medicine is really big on misdiagnosis, huh? Morty. I think that's a compliment. But it gives me a chuckle, so I like it. You look like the best version of a good person. I'm still healing. I'm not a perfect person. I wake up every morning with a demon in the back of my head that tells me, that is fucking pissed that we are awake. I wake up with a pirate on my ship who's like, another day. Another bloody day. And every night I fall asleep snuggling my fear. I have had some deep, 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 deep traumas occur in my life. things that program the mind and body to operate in certain ways. One of the biggest gifts of doing this work is learning to forgive yourself for the way that you unconsciously behaved. Agreed, Josephine. Truly divine timing. What is the condition diagnosis that I'm addressing? You met with a somatic therapist today. Ooh, I'm really glad. Definitely seek out somatic therapy. I am not a somatic therapist, but I call myself a movement facilitator, because everything I do is with the intention of creating movement in the breath, in the body, or in the being, or the spirit, right? Somatic therapy is extremely important, because as the body is developing, as those first, I told you guys were going to get me on a rabbit hole with the chakras today, with the energy body. During your first 23, 25 years of life, you are developing your physical body, your mental body. Your brain doesn't finish developing until your early 20s. Your chakras don't finish developing until your early 20s. Your social emotional development, right? Your awareness, your sense of reality, presence of mind kind of things. These things develop slowly over time. And as they develop, we are absorbing our experience. We are absorbing absolutely every bit of information around us. Do not use this as a means to blame anyone or anything for who you are. That's not what this is for. This is the awareness that we are structured by both our nature and our nurture. Your body and mind did the absolute best they could with what was available. And for that, be grateful. What a powerful thing to come from a spark. And grow into all of this complexity. But that also means that there are layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of structure. Imagine like an actual structure, right? These layers and layers and layers and layers that have been built upon. When you start to do this work in your 20s, late 20s, 30s, 40s, maybe 50s, 60s, you look back and you go, oh man, I have been trying to build a house on a cracked foundation. Because when I was a child, these experiences didn't give me the tools to build a proper foundation for this whole temple, right? So now I look back and go, oh shit, my foundation's cracked. No wonder I'm struggling to feel safe. No wonder every little shaky thing in my life makes me feel like I'm falling apart. My foundation is cracked, yo. That's not anybody's fault. You don't need placing blame. Attaching story and placing blame is going to create suffering for you. That's all. There's no need to do it. The only thing you have is here and now. So when you use your awareness and find the crack in your foundation and go, oh, meet it with loving kindness and even some curiosity and willingness and go, okay, how do we fix this? When you notice a crack in your foundation, metaphorically, how do you think you're going to fix that physically? I mean, obviously you don't re-concrete your feet, right? Hopefully not. No, you need to address that on the levels at which it was created. Yes, some of us feel like we built on quicksand, right? I sometimes felt like I built right at the edge of the ocean. I'd build and build and build and build, and it was great. And then a big wave would come and pull everything away. We have this beautiful opportunity to do this work on ourselves, but only after all of our resources come online. Once they come online, we're given the keys to our temple. And then we have this beautiful opportunity to renovate that temple. We may find perfect things in there. There are gifts that I received from my mother that I will never change. They are the pillars, strong, beautifully carved pillars that hold up my roof. Without that from her, I would not have this shelter. I will never change those. But fuck this foundation, go. And there's a missing wall over there, right? Boundaries. Anybody have boundary issues? Oh, you mean you've left a door? You just left the door off of your temple and people just walk in and out and fucking throw parties in your temple and fucking trash everything, and then you sit there all mean like, everybody took everything out of my temple. Why does everybody take anything from me? Why does everybody take everything from me? Put a fucking door on your temple. I love you. Put a door on your temple. I say that, and I say that way because that's what I had to tell myself just a couple years ago. Just a couple years ago. I suddenly realized there was not even a door on my temple. So of course I didn't trust myself to maintain boundaries. So I've spent a little bit of time learning how to put a door on my temple and learning when to shut the door and when to open it. I'm a storyteller, so I really love stories and visuals and these metaphors and analogies because I think they really help us. This is why we have stories that are passed down and used in this way, because they help us understand these deep and profound concepts in very simplistic ways. This is your temple. And if you are out of your early 20s, then it is now your responsibility to maintain this temple. Why do I call it a temple? Yeah, your body is a temple, right? But why do we say that? Because divinity resides in you. Divinity flows through you. You are a conduit, a temple. Hey, it's okay. It's just the neighbor. Hold on, let me let him out so we can yell at the neighbor. You want to go yell at him? Go yell at him. Go tell him what you doing. You want to go too? Okay, go. Go. Go get him. Dogs doing dog things. So, if you're anywhere on this journey and you feel like that resonates with you, right? Whether it's fuck, my foundation's on quicksand, or yeah, I don't have a door on my temple, or I just realized that something else, right? If you want to learn how to do this work without having to go back into the past and rehash your bullshit with a therapist, or take medications for symptoms that come from things that the medications aren't treating. I am not by any means telling anyone to change what they are doing if it is working for them. Please do not take this as I'm going to throw out my meds and throw out my routine and totally just follow you. No, I am not your guru. I am not the end all be all. I have a fuck ton of tools and I'm going to lay them out for you. It is your responsibility to pick and choose which tools actually work for you, actually help. And that can be, and may need to be, in tandem with other tools that are supporting you right now, but may not be the right thing for you long term. Honor where you are in this moment, because not doing so creates suffering. To try to be anywhere else but in the present moment creates suffering. If I am worrying about the things I have to do tomorrow, or what if I miss my appointment or whatnot, I'm spending energy on worry. That's not where I want to spend my energy. And I am missing the here and now by spending all that worry time. If I am constantly troubled by the past and these memories that keep coming up, which a lot of us have with all this trauma, I am still bringing unnecessary pain into my life, into my awareness sphere, and creating suffering. We can create tiny bits of suffering, and we can create lifelong threads of suffering. Hey, Jersey Moon. But ultimately, it is up to you what kind of suffering you want to choose. Life has pain. Life has ups and downs. The tides pull in and out. The sun rises and falls, right? Pain, joy, fear, love, grief, all of these things swirl around us. And what you have is a spotlight of awareness. Anywhere you put that spotlight of awareness, you feed it. That light of your awareness is fuel. It feeds, makes anything expand, grow, multiply. So focus on your worries, and you will continue to worry. Focus on those past traumas, and they will haunt you. They will continue to haunt you. They will continue to speak to you. Focus on the negative self-talk and bitching at yourself, and you will continue to feel bitched at. Argue for your limitations, and indeed they are yours. As long as you argue for them. And as long as you feel justified in your arguing for them, you will never see your way out of them. I don't like to use absolutes, but if you are arguing for your limitation, I can't. I won't. I don't want to. Okay. That's totally up to you. And to be honest, it's your choice. I am impressed by people who choose suffering. And I say that because I've chosen suffering in my life, and I probably still choose certain amounts of suffering in my life. But I do not want to suffer. And I have spent my entire life trying to avoid suffering, trying to find my way out of suffering. Because that's what I had as a child, was suffering. And I said, there's got to be something else. There's got to be more. Do I still suffer? Yeah. But it's a process. It's an unraveling. It's a peeling the onion layers, right? Hey, New again. The more we peel away, our attachment, our justification, our expectations, our misconceptions, the less suffering happens in our life, and the more space we have for joy, for divinity to flow through us, for energy to move freely through us, so that things don't get stuck. So when somebody throws arrows, right, throws darts at you, weaponizes their emotions, it goes right through you because you don't have those layers of stuck and blockages and thick stickiness, right? It's not about being rubber and bouncing things off. It's about being fluid. It's about being water and letting things move through, transmuting them. I like to imagine them as arrows when people throw energy at me. I let the arrows move through me and become clean, washed clean by going through me. So not only can they not hurt me, but they can't hurt anybody else either. That's what transmutation looks like. And just because somebody is throwing gifts at you does not mean you have to receive them. Does not mean you have to take them. Does not mean you have to be hit by them. Be the water. There is no such thing as good or bad, right or wrong, except through our perception, through our judgment of it. This is what the most profound teachings teach us, is when we become one with God, with the universe, with the fluidity that is through everything, we can't be hurt because there's nothing to hurt. I have to have vulnerability, insecurity for you to hurt me. But if I lack the attachment to these things, or the attachment to my ego and expectations about how you're going to see me and treat me and talk to me and, right, talk about me, and I release all of those things, I no longer suffer from them. All right. I love you guys very, very much. If you would like to work directly with me, you can find that over on patreon.com. Josephine, me too. If you guys missed the meditation, remember my replays are always on YouTube. Please go follow me on YouTube. I'm trying to cultivate that channel so that everybody knows that that is where the bulk of my content goes. I am tired of fighting with algorithms. So to be honest, you're going to have to look for my stuff to find it, because the AI is taking down my stuff because they see the codes in it. They see the light codes. They see the energy codes in it, which is really fantastic. Actually, I'm really tickled by it, but it means that they're not sharing my content out to you. So if you would like to find my content, then you've got to come look for it, or join me in the Discord, and I have a content feed there that just drops everything in the Discord that I post. So you can turn those notifications off too after you join the Discord. If you're like, oh my God, that's annoying. I don't post that much. I post like a couple times a day, but just so you know, those things are there. If you would like to join the CAYA community, you can do so for free. The link is in my Patreon. The Discord link is in my Patreon. I think the link for my Patreon is on my bio, both on TikTok and on YouTube. Otherwise, snag yourself a membership level and come join us for the deep dive practice classes, for the group coaching. Dog! Sir. Or dive deeper and get yourself a subscription for private coaching and private practice classes. Private sessions. Yeah. Fantastic. All right, guys. Enjoy your Saturday. Sangha members, we will have the Astrology Weekly Peekly forecast out tomorrow. Just FYI, guys, I do also have a podcast. The podcast, the link for it is on my Patreon too. I have recorded meditations there, and I have some astrology there too. Hey, sir. Oh, he's barking because the puppy is out there, because he's started doing this, barking because the puppy wants in. Okay, I'm gonna go make myself some breakfast. I'm gonna go deal with these fantastic dogs. I love you guys so much. I will see you on YouTube. I will see you in the Discord, and I will see you in the Sangha. Mwah! Go be your fucking fantastic, beautiful selves, okay? He feels